Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And I have a fascinating show today. You know, by watching the show, we love talking about business. We love talking about entrepreneurship. And we also love talking about money and income and how important it is to start thinking about what we call passive income. And we came across a gentleman that has an incredible business. He's a great entrepreneur. He's done so much on this planet already at a very young age. But when we look at what he's doing, he is doing something that's remarkable with so many testimonials from clients. It's just remarkable. So when we saw what Luke Veer is doing at Website Rental Coaching in the passive income space, teaching people how to make a passive income, we had to bring him on the show because it's a fascinating space. And of course, when we talk about it, so many people attempt to try this, but you really need a good mentor. You really need a program. You really need a platform and a system to really gain that financial freedom. So we wanted to bring Luke on the show today to talk about all of this. Luke, welcome to the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thanks for having me on, Andy. Pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you. We're going to get into entrepreneurship a little bit later on. Of course, you've built an incredible business and you really think about people's freedom. You think about the goal of them having freedom. You have a great story about how you were in the grind and then you came across something that really gave you an aha moment. We're going to talk about that as well. But before we get started, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Tell us about Website Rental Coaching, and then we're going to go.
Website rental coaching is where I teach people how to create a passive income by generating leads for businesses. Just very simple. Businesses need it, and we could fill that need in the space.
All right, so let's talk about that. Before we move down the path, let's go baseline. Let's bring it back to the basics. Companies throughout the world, companies throughout the United States, they need leads. They need to fill up their pipeline. They need to fill up their sales cycle. They need to fill up their opportunities at bat, if you will, with clients that are interested in their service. So let's talk about the lead space to begin with. Why is it important to get involved with lead generation? And how important is that to sort of the full economy in America and throughout the world?
Well, business owners definitely need it. 5.5 million new businesses were created last year, and that doesn't count all the ones that are already out there. And a lot of these business owners don't have any real way to control the growth of their company. Everybody wants to grow. Like, some people are happy where they are, but most people want to grow and they just don't know how to do it. They're relying based on referrals. They do a good job and they ask, maybe friends and family, or they hope that you'll refer them to other people. They might do radio, TV ads, all these different things, but not a lot of it is measurable. And if it is measurable, it's also a lot of money. Sometimes they're paying lead generation companies like Angie's List tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to get leads. But then there's a problem with that too, because those leads are shared among other companies. So like a customer submits their information and that information is given to 5 different companies who then fight over that person. And it's like a race to the bottom and who can charge the lowest price to get them. So none of this is very effective in terms of the use of your money and controlling how fast you grow. So what I'm doing is using websites to create more of like an automated inbound lead generation system where people are coming in, the leads go to the business owner exclusively, and they can control how fast they go. Or they can do it themselves, generate leads for themselves, or you could help somebody do it.
Wow, so interesting. I want to get into the nuts and bolts a little bit because it's so fascinating. But one thing I love, you tell a story, of course, that you had a corporate job and you wanted to kill your corporate job. And you did it by using passive website rentals. And then what happened was through this process, you were able to create a coaching program to teach the clients. Take us back to when you decided to sort of kill your corporate job and what happened with the passive website business that you started.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was taught you go to school, you get a job, and then I understood that you just work until 65, somewhere around there. And then hopefully you have enough money to retire and enjoy your last 20 years, whatever it is. And I just never really understood that. Why wouldn't you try to do something now and enjoy yourself now? Why do you have to wait and like do all this work and stuff you don't really want to do to get to that point and maybe be able to enjoy it, maybe not. So I already didn't love this idea, but I went to school anyways. That's what we're supposed to do. Got out, got a job. I was doing this, and everybody I'm talking to, all of my colleagues are older than me, much, much older. A lot of them are nearing retirement. Some of them are after 65, 67, 68, still haven't retired yet. And all the conversations seem to go the same direction. It was all, I wish I could have done XYZ, whether it's traveling, hang with the family, all these things. And it was either that or I don't have enough money or both. And I was like, this isn't good. This is this is where I'm headed right now if I stay on this path. So I'm like, I got to find something else. So I'm immediately looking online, doing what everybody does, Googling, trying to figure out how do we make some money so I don't have to do this forever. There's got to be some way to earn an income without me sitting, typing at a desk in an office 9 to 5 forever. So that's kind of what set me on this whole path. I just never agreed with that idea.
Yeah, I love it. Of course, you came up with something that's really great, and many people are taking advantage of this opportunity, this platform, this coaching that you offer. You also are a very, very exciting entrepreneur. We want to talk about that in just a little bit, of course, through your acquisition program that you have now. But before we do, I want to break it down. You watch the show, you know we like to break things down simply. We like the people watching watching the show to really understand it. So let's take a space. Let's take a particular person or company that needs leads. I'll let you tell me that type of company. And then let's walk through the process on how they get involved, really using your system to generate leads that ultimately leads to a higher ROI for them, leads to increased profitability, leads to increased gross revenue, leads to all good things in business expansion. So let's talk about a particular space. You make it up for me. You tell me the type of client that we're talking about, and then we're going to go through the process.
Got you covered. I'll cover the model and then kind of what you need to be a part of it. I think it'll bring it full circle. Let's go electricians, and let's just choose a random city. How about Miami, Florida? All right, so we got a lot of electricians in Miami, Florida, all these different companies. Different people use different things for advertising to get leads coming in the door. And if I determine that that's a profitable space, I can build a website for an electrician, like about that topic, move that to the top of Google, and now customers start calling in for electrician services. I take that website and I rent it to an electrician to fulfill the work. And I rent it to them like you would rent an apartment. I just treat a website as digital real estate. So the leads are coming in, customers are calling. That's what they need. And I'll just charge them $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, something like that. They pay a monthly flat fee rental to rent the website from me. And that just means they get all the leads that come in exclusively. And then that's it. It's passive for me. If you choose the right market, I don't really have to do barely any work, depending on the market you pick, to keep it at the top. So it just keeps bringing in leads because people see it if it's at the top of Google. And the business owner keeps paying because they're getting work from it. So it's win-win for everybody.
Well, there you go. Simplified. Now, what about someone that's watching the show, Luke, and they say, hey, I'm not an electrician, but I want to be Luke. I want to be the entrepreneur that's offering the websites to people in my local market. Do you offer that opportunity as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, in order to kind of leverage this website rental model, you need to know SEO. So search engine optimization. It's just that process of taking a website from invisible to where people see it. So people start calling in, sending in estimate requests, all that kind of stuff. And the thing I've created teaches people how to do all of that. So if you're the business owner, you could go do that and create a passive income by working with other businesses, helping them, or you can do it for yourself and bring in your own leads. Some people do both.
Yeah, I love it. So if I'm a SEO expert or I have some chops in that particular space and I reach out to you and your team over at Website Rental Coaching, I have an opportunity to sort of learn your system to start gaining passive income as well for me and my family. Is that the idea?
Yeah, but you don't even have to have any experience. That's the thing. Like I came from not knowing any of this, and I spent a lot of money on all these different trainings, and none of them were complete. They'd only give me a piece of the puzzle. One would help me with sales, one would help me a little bit with the web design, but I could not find anything that was the full package. And when I started doing this for myself, I used to have an agency. I was doing SEO for people. That's kind of how it started. And all I did was really create another job for myself. And I was like, well, didn't think that one through.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. And then I started renting websites out instead because I was like, this can be passive for me. This is great. And a lot of my clients who I essentially got rid of, I just handed them off to other people I trusted. I was like, I'm not going to be doing services for you anymore. I'm going to be renting websites. And they just asked me, well, can you show me this too? I could benefit from this. And I was like, yeah, I guess. So that's kind of how the coaching thing started. I never intended to do this. It just kind of happened organically. And then I was like, all right. So I just ran with it.
I love it. It's such a great story. And of course, you were one of the first ones that really decided to treat websites like a piece of real estate. And I love that so much. Was there something growing up when you were young or something throughout your younger years where you had an aha moment along the way where you said to yourself, hey, I like this idea of real estate. I didn't, of course, back then, maybe you didn't know it was going to be websites like real estate, but were you around the real estate business as a young man that sort of led you to start thinking this way? Or was this something that happened later in your career?
No, this was a later thing. I remember I remember the moment I'm sitting doing my agency work. I have a bunch of clients, like 7 or 8 clients, I think at the time. And one of the clients called me up really, really late on a Sunday night, like just on my cell phone, complaining about something. And I'm like, I answered the phone, like woke up just out of a nice sleep. And I'm like, what is going on? You're in like the daze, like a fog, like I don't know what's going on. I answer the phone and he's just complaining. And I'm like, what is happening right now? What is this? So the next day I got up, I was extremely frustrated with this. I got rid of that client. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Why, why is it that this isn't passive? What do I have to do to make this passive? And it occurred to me that it's the ownership of the property, right? If I'm working on somebody else's website, their stuff, I'm tied to them, right? But if I own it, I control it. So now I can choose who's going to be part of this or not. And I was like, why did I not think of this sooner? So I started building all the websites and I tried this. The first client I reached out to, I had leads for the niche that I was doing, reached out to the business owner. I sent them some leads and I was like, here's how I'd like this to go. You're going to essentially rent the top spot. You can't get it for your own company. I see you on page 15. You're going to have to pay a lot of money to get it there. I'm already there. You can rent this top spot from me. You'll have all the leads. I won't send them to anybody else. I just want you to pay me this fee. And you're just not really going to talk to me otherwise. I'm just going to have your credit card on file, auto charging. As long as leads keep coming in, we'll both be happy. I'm like, how does that sound? He's like, that sounds good. Let's try it out. And everybody loves that. It just keeps happening. Like, as long as the leads keep coming in, they just keep paying. So I don't have to do the reports. I don't have to do the interactions. I don't have to pretend that I want to do the Christmas card thing. It's just not me. So I'm just very upfront with them. This is all it is. I'm going to give you this great service for a great price. You just pay for the leads and I'm happy. So it's passive for me. And I was like, the light bulb, and I just start building those all over the place.
I love it. I would imagine in certain verticals, there are leads that I guess are more valuable than others. So, for example, if I'm selling a $20,000 item that has a high margin with it versus a $100 item with a low margin, if I want the 20,000 high margin website, I'll be paying more per month probably for that website. Is that the
Yep,
way it goes?
absolutely. I'm trying to charge a percentage of what something's worth, which is why I'll choose those higher value niches just to make sure that I can charge a very large flat fee. Like if
Yeah.
you take a lawyer, for example, that's probably not a niche that I would say is easy. But if you get the results in that, the clients are worth thousands and thousands of dollars a piece. So for me to ask for 4 or 5 grand a month is nothing.
100%. It makes all the sense in the world, and the proof is in the pudding with what you're able to do, Luke. Now, something that you've done recently that's very exciting is you've been able to take this portfolio that you've built, and you're a big believer in using income in the highest and best possible way. And you're looking at acquisitions now. you and your brother, I believe, are looking to acquire different types of businesses. It's sort of the next evolution. When we talk about someone that looks at sort of real estate online, it does make sense for you to start looking at businesses to acquire to continue to accelerate your passive income commitment. Let's talk about this. What types of companies are you looking to acquire, and how is that going for you?
Yeah, so I'll back it up a little bit. My this lead generation skill set, you can use it to really build any business. So specific to this, I got into this because I was just simply asking my CPA, how do I not pay taxes? And she laughed and she's like, real estate or buy businesses. And like I'm familiar with real estate. I hadn't done anything yet. But I was like, what do you mean buy businesses? And she's like, just buy an existing business and just you essentially could buy the cash flow. And I was like, brilliant. Didn't think of that. Cool. So I started doing this. I went to a seminar. I learned how to do that too. And I just was looking for things we could potentially buy. My brother happens to have a lot of experience in the car wash space. He took a brand new car wash from 0 to 150,000 a month in 4 months for this other person that brought him on. But that was like a 9 to 5 job for him. And then they let him go, saying that his salary is too expensive, which I thought was hilarious because of how much money he brought them. And I was like, that's not right. So I said, why don't we buy something and then you could just run it and we'll just split the equity, like 50%. It'll keep me passive and I'll just front the money. And we ended up buying an ice cream catering company instead because car washes were way overpriced based on what they make. But still looking to do another car wash just because I got a lot of free time now because of the website rentals. And I just like growing businesses. So either buy one up front or outright or take an equity stake and want to help it grow.
I love it. I love it. It's such a great idea. The website rental business. Let's talk about the coaching. How does the coaching happen? Is it done online? Do you do it by Zoom? Do you have videos? Is it done by phone calls? What transactional process happens for you to take someone and teach them your business?
Yeah, it's a three-part system. So all the mistakes and all the things I've made over time trying to kind of figure all this out and just spending so much money testing, all of that is built into a program, really A to Z, step by step through everything. So you can come in knowing absolutely nothing about websites, how Google works, anything. And you could just go step by step through the videos and just check off each item as you go through and just build a business as you go. And then we have a private community with other entrepreneurs who are a lot of them business owners and a lot of 9 to 5ers too. So it's kind of like a good mix. Some people are generating leads for themselves. Some people are all about passive income. And it's a really cool thing to be a part of. So people interact in the community. There's a lot of networking. They'll help each other. They started their own accountability group without me even saying anything about it, which was cool within that. And then weekly, we also have a live call where I just go on Zoom. We hop on like gallery mode so everybody can meet each other and talk. And we just throw up whatever questions they got. We just kind of work through everybody's issues or whatever they're working on one by one until everybody's done. And all that stuff's recorded and we load that to the program after. So it's kind of a comprehensive way to learn it, get going, generate leads, and make some passive income.
I love that. And by recording, you also are building content for a content vault, which is a very important thing to do as well, Luke. I think of you as sort of the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. And I know we haven't been able to cut you out a lot of time because you're so busy helping so many people, but I want to indulge myself, maybe keep you a little bit over because I do want to talk to you about entrepreneurship. You have a great attitude. You took this aha moment and built it into a great business. So many people love what's happening at the website rental coaching business. You have a lot of clients that, of course, are loving those leads every month that are more than happy to strike a check and wire you the money every single month because they love the fact that they're getting all these high power leads that your websites can offer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship. We have some younger entrepreneurs, Luke, that watch the show. Maybe they're hitting a tough time. Maybe they're not sure what to do. Maybe they're freezing in the frame, which happens to all entrepreneurs sometimes. What types of advice can you give, Luke, to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show that maybe are having a little bit of a tough time in business?
I would say sometimes the business model is the problem, but if the model works, then success is a choice. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And for a lot of people, that means being disciplined, just working on your business consistently, even when you don't feel like it. And you may not feel like it the majority of the time. I know I did. But your brain, your friends, your family, everything tells you to quit. It's not worth it. Keep your job, play it safe. Your belief is the only one that matters, though. So ignore all of that, turn on the blinders, and just focus on the process. If you can set small incremental goals for yourself and just keep knocking them out as you move up the ladder, just keep collecting those little wins, and eventually you get exactly what you want.
Yeah, I love it. How important, Luke, do you feel for the entrepreneurial community is having a mentor, having a group of people that you can talk to, or almost like what you put together for your clients, a mastermind group? How important is being able to reach out to other entrepreneurs to share your situation, share what you're going through, reach out to people that have better knowledge, maybe insight than you do that can provide you great solutions and answers to your problems?
Well, I mean, I have to say I'm biased now because I'm one of them, but in the beginning, I thought it would be best for me to just figure it out, right? You're taught to be self-sufficient. At least I was taught to be self-sufficient growing up. Just go figure it out, and then you got it from there. You don't need any help. But I found that by just asking other people, you can essentially buy other people's mistakes. It's like you can either take all of your time and your money and your resources to use it and figure everything out yourself. And it's probably going to take a really long time. Or you can find someone who's already done that and you can pay them to just tell you what they know. And then you skip all of that other work. And having done that other work so many times, trying different models, trying to get something to work, I could say it was pretty painful and I would have gladly paid somebody. I just didn't think of this. And then the first time I did, I was like, wow, another light bulb moment. I should just keep doing this. So ever since I started learning about SEO, I've just bought training after training after training to just keep building on that. And everything I don't know how to do that's somehow related to anything I'm doing entrepreneurial wise, I'll try to find somebody who's in the space that I want to be or somebody who knows more than me and be around them, whether I have to, introduce myself into that group or I have to pay to be a part of it, pay to play. Either way, it's absolutely worth it just to save the time because you'd rather be able to enjoy your life and do what you want to do sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's great advice for the entrepreneurs watching the show. Rewind what Luke just said. That is powerful. I'm going to throw a sidewinder question in here because I've got you here on the show. You're a full expert in SEO, one of the leaders in the space worldwide. And everybody's talking about AI and the way in which the search algorithms are changing. And I'm sure you're on top of that. What do you see being the future of search with, the integration of AI and the other tools that are now being used?
Well, Google's testing a lot of responsive AI, meaning you type in some kind of question or something you want, and they're trying to use AI to respond. So far, people aren't loving it because a lot of the responses are a little bit generic and the AI is not always right. But as it gets smarter, we're going to see more of that. I don't see really much happening to SEOs or people that do lead generation. I think this is still going to be around because the majority of Google's money, where they make their money, is from advertising. And they have to have people using the search engine, getting the things they need. And people don't want answers from an AI. People want personal answers from humans, right? They want personal stories and things, and that's something that AI can't bring. So I see a combination where we can use it to make maybe content writing and things a little bit easier. We can use it to make different processes easier, but I don't think it takes over completely because then we lose that personal touch that people want so much.
Interesting. We're going to look forward to seeing that. I know you'll be on top of it. I know you'll be way ahead of it, of course, because you're a zeitgeist. Let's talk about it a little bit, Luke, because I want to talk about leads. I want to go back to leads. It's a fascinating space. A company. We use the electrician down in Florida,
Sure.
and they've got the website, and they're getting these leads in. but they don't have a system to handle the leads. So they're kind of burning through the leads. I would imagine in your mindset, that's a total travesty. Do you also offer for the clients that are getting the leads any type of training or system or advice on how to get to the leads and how to get back to the leads so that the program is successful?
Mm. So there's multiple thoughts on this one. And my personal take on this is I'll just find somebody who can do it. So I don't have to spend the extra time and I don't have to have something that's not passive. I'm just trying to find that perfect business owner who knows how to do it. They can close the leads. They got what it is down. They just don't have the inbound flow. And all I got to do is connect the pipe and they're good to go. But in addition to, doing website rental, this SEO skill set brings a lot of things. So all the pieces of the puzzle that you have to learn to be able to do this are all things that people have built entire companies on, right? Like the content writing can be an entire agency in itself, or Google My Business and the maps part of Google, or just link building is part of, there's entire agencies just on that, or the fulfillment end. So I've had some coaching clients go through and actually build systems and things to do that. I just personally choose not to because I'd rather just do whatever's the quickest route to where I'm trying to go, which is just more passive money.
I love it. You stay in your lane. I'm going to call you the king of passive. I mean, I can see that being your TED Talk. That's what it's all about. As a matter of fact, I learned a lot from you during this show because I started thinking to myself as you're talking about passive income for my life. And of course, it's great. So for the people looking for a great passive income opportunity, reach out to Luke. Of course, people that need leads, reach out to Luke. I mean, leads do make the world go round. And of course, everybody needs leads to drive a business. And we know that for sure. And also, of course, you're looking at acquisitions. If anybody has a company that maybe think Luke and his brother might be interested in, reach out through the website. We'll put the links below, Luke, but I'm so happy I've been able to book some time with you. I learned a lot during this interview, and you really have taken something, a 9-to-5 job, you had an aha moment, you turned it into something great, and now you're sharing the wealth with your clients. It's a great way to go. It's a great way to pay it forward. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you for having me on and letting me share my story.